Today we are going to talk about your addiction. Your addiction leads you to guilt and pulls you away from God. It ruins your relationship, it destroys your relationship, and then leads you to astray, to destruction. That's why the devil wants you to be guilty and he wants you to be ashamed. So you do not have a relationship with God. That is the devil's purpose, is to make you guilty, is to make you ashamed, and so you do not get into a relationship with God. So in the last video, I talk about like pursuing, like making friends. Go make some friends, go out there, make some friends. Friends, good friends that like watch your back and you watch their back. But you can't, it's hard to find friends like that nowadays because friends, they just come to you for like the benefit of you because you have money, because you have a car, you have a big house. That's an example right there. And or maybe you have good status, high status. So you gotta watch out for those. They might steal from you, bully you and stuff. They just want the benefit of you. Same thing with girlfriend and boyfriend. They're there because you have something that benefit them. And when you give them something that benefit them, a cheap dopamine, which I call it the cheap dopamine, you give it the cheap dopamine to them, they leave and they move on to the next person, or they move on. Or when something bad happens to you, they're not there to support you, and they leave. Like friends are not supposed to be there in only in good situation. They're supposed to be there even in bad situation. When something bad happens to you, they support you. They're there with you. But nowadays you got friends that they they leave you, man. Like they just leave you. And to overcome this, you have to keep the streak going, the streak. So say like you're 1 week without telephone, and then you come back the same addiction again after the week after that. 1 whole week without the addiction, and then you come back to it. I see this a lot. A cycle over and over and over. I see a cycle. A cycle is happening like for weeks or for month, a cycle. A person, he gets on pornography for a week and then he quits. 1 week, no fap, no fapping for 1 week. And then the week after that, he come back again. Or it can be 2 weeks without it, and then after that he come back. Or maybe 1 month after, and then come back. On Acts chapter 3 verse 19 says something like, if you come back to your old ways, then the demon, that same demon that came out of you, he's gonna come back, but with his 7 other spirits. And then in Psalms it says, like a dog returned to its vomit in Psalms. And we need to be aware of that. Because if you come back to your old addiction, your old ways, your old life, then it's gonna be hard for you. It's gonna be hard for you to overcome it, because there is 7 other demons that are powerful than the main demon. Go look it up at Acts chapter 3 verse 19 and read along. But a lot of people come back, it's a cycle. It's slavery. So like what you want to do is reward yourself. So say like Monday or Sunday you start like no social media, and then Friday you reward yourself by going to the movie theater or getting ice cream or hanging out with your friend or going on roller coasters. You don't want to reward yourself that's related to what you're trying to overcome. So, like saying, like, you're overcoming social media, you get out of social media on Sunday, and then Friday you get on social media as a reward. That's gonna that's gonna cause you more damage. You're just gonna come back to your old ways. So, like, you want to reward yourself that has nothing to do with your old addiction, what you're trying to overcome. And this mainly comes with pornography and masturbation. This is the most that people struggle. A lot of people struggle. 70% of men struggle with this. 30% of women struggle with this. And we really need to put in the work and try. I had a person in the live stream yesterday. I was watching Conflict by Fire, Eric. And Andrew, he had a smoking addiction and he couldn't overcome it. And but I see like his guilt and his shame took control of him, saying that his guilt and shame, and he said that God don't like him and that he's not part of God and all that. And then like we try to help him and I ask him, who guided you to that video? It's the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit guided you to that video. So this is one example of like how the devil would do. He pulls you back and then he puts shame and guilt in you, and then you don't want to pray to God because you said like I did something bad and I feel shame. You feel shame to pray. You feel guilty to pray. It's like you did something bad and your mom and dad knows, and then you are ashamed to talk to your mom and dad. You are ashamed to confront with your mom and dad. You would do the same thing with your parents. If your parents knew that you did these things, you would be ashamed to talk to them. You would be ashamed to confront with them. That's the same thing with God. With God, a lot of people are ashamed. They don't want to, they stop praying, they start worshiping, and then it gets worse and worse. The devil pulls you even more deeper and deeper and deeper to make sure that you don't come back to God. Pulls you deeper and deeper till destruction. So these things are cheap dopamine. So when it comes to rewarding yourself, you gotta be careful because like if you reward yourself like most often or every single day, of course the dopamine is gonna worn out. You wanna do it like once a week or 2 times a week or something different. Do something different, not the same thing over and over. Because you do the same thing over and over, dopamine is gonna worn out and then you're gonna come back to your cycle. That's the thing. A lot of people they hang out every day and then dopamine warns out and then they go to parties worn out. They go to parties where there's drinking and there's drugs, where there's alcohol and drugs, where there's alcohol and drugs, and that leads people to addiction to drinking and addiction to smoking. It all starts in the party, going to the party, going to the club, going to the bar. It introduced them to drinking habit, smoking weed, and other stuff, including smoking cigarettes. It brings habits. So you gotta be careful what party you go to because you will be introduced to drugs, you will be introduced to alcohol, you will be introduced to weed, you'll be introduced, or if you're a man that likes to build muscle, you'll be introduced to a different type of steroids. They know, like the devil will whisper in these people's ears and say, hey, this person likes to build muscle. He likes to be big. He likes to pack on a whole ton of muscle mass. Give him the steroids. And then you go to a party, and then these people, like the devil speak in them ear, and then people introduce you these type of steroids, and they're like, take these pills. Take these pills. You take these pills, you work out the gym. You see the first time you're like, wow, I'm big. I pack on 5 pounds of muscle. And then weeks, Weeks pass by and you pack on, and then it wears out. It wears out. The dopamine, you ruin the dopamine. The dopamine wears out. And now it's not the same. The things of the flesh, you start pursuing more and more and more because it does not satisfy you like in the spirit. When you feed the flesh more and more, you want to you are wanting to find that dopamine, that same dopamine that hit like the first time, like the first time of that dopamine. You're seeking it. And then that person is putting more steroids, more dangerous steroids, higher dose, abusing steroids, taking multiple steroids to get that same dopamine hit like the first time. And then guess what? It leads to destruction. Same thing with goes with party. You hang out with your friends and then it passes on to party because the dopamine worn out. And then you go drinking, and then you go smoking, and then becomes an addiction. And then the drugs, you want to take more drugs. You want to drink more you want to drink more alcohol. You want to do more and more, and you want more and more and more, and you want more until it leads you to further destruction. It leads you to destruction. So when you reward yourself, you got to be careful when it comes to rewarding yourself. Be careful when you reward, because sometimes rewards can lead you to destruction. And think of it like a little kid that work in school. A little kid work in school, and he does homework, he does crossword puzzles, and the reward is stickers. A teacher gives him a sticker, he got that dopamine hit. But the teacher doesn't always give the kid stickers. The teacher only gives the kid stickers when he finished the work. When he finished, that's what you gotta do. During those times, replace. So what you're working on during this week is replacing your addiction. It's not letting it go and that's it. Like you gotta replace it. And drinking and smoking can be very hard, but this mainly goes with pornography and masturbating. Like you can replace it with praying, reading the Bible, and use the app that I told you, that I put in the community post. Like use that app. I mean, you gotta pay $5 a month, but what could go wrong, right? It's better to pay $5 a month and overcome pornography than not paying it and then you end up coming back for like every week, or like a cycle over and over. You gotta have a prayer life, and you gotta fight your battles. Fight the battle, overcome it. Overcome and fight the battle. Fight for your freedom, because that is slavery right there. The pornography is witchcraft. Weed is witchcraft. Alcohol is witchcraft. It's not good for you. That alcohol is not good for you. They made it specifically for us, the Israelites, because they know the pain that we carry, the pain of our forefathers. We carry that pain. They don't tell us that. We carry the pain of our forefather. We carry the pain of our own pain, the pain of our past, the pain of the things that happened to our forefather in slavery and captivities, the pain that we carry. And that's why they make alcohol, that's why they make weed, that's why they make drugs. Like these things are bad. Alcohol is not good for you. Your body's the temple of the Holy Spirit. Like you're causing harm to yourself. And what do you think when you're watching pornography and you masturbating? Like these things are bad for you. Like they cause damage. It corrupts your mind. Like it's unrealistic. And a lot of people, they watch that and they get into marriage thinking that's gonna solve the problem, but they still addicted to it. They still addicted. Like in pornography, most people that watch it, They're married, they have kids, they have wives, they have wife. Like, these things can cause damage, and a lot of people like say they like tell others like, don't watch pornography, don't get into pornography when you married, do not get it when you married. Like, they end up divorcing, they lose kids. These things are bad. A lot of people that are married, they struggling. Like, these are things that causes anxieties, causes depression, because throughout the road, in the beginning, it feels good, right? In the beginning, that's what the devil comes. The devil comes beautiful like an angel. He introduces you beautiful like an angel. He introduces you to it, and then the true color begins to reveal. The thing about pornography is that the dopamine spike, it hits the spike. And then when it hits the spike, it leads to depression. You ran out of your tank, like a car running out of tank, and you're no longer motivated to work out. You're no longer motivated to get up from bed. Like that, or you lose all that energy. All it does is waste your energy. It drains your energy and it wastes your energy. That's what all that pornography does. So you need to have a group of friends, that watch your back and you watch their back. It's hard to find one. It's hard to find one. But if you're attracting a lot of fake friends. If you are attracting a lot of fake friends, you need to change environment, change the place where you're at. Maybe move to a new state, move to a new church, maybe church. Like church, they can help you out. Like just go to church and try to find some good friend. Most people in church are struggling with it. They just don't tell you. The pastors, most pastors don't preach about it, about pornography, because they struggling with it. They struggling with, most pastors struggle with it. But you got TD Jakes exposed with homosexuality. Like, these are, pornography can also lead to homosexuality too, because like you've been watching a lot of women, and then dopamine warns out, and like it doesn't release the same, and now you're looking for something else that hits the same dopamine like the first time. Now you're looking with men making out with another man. Now you're looking at child porn. Now you're looking at animals. Now you're looking at, it goes extreme and extreme. It destroys your mind. There's no benefit of that garbage. Like, it's garbage. They call it porn, but it's garbage. There's no benefit of that. Like, it goes deep and deep, and you become nastier and nastier. You're watching nastiest videos, and then you get arrested because you watch child porn, or you have a sickness because you have an affair with a homosexual man, or with an animal. You get sickness and diseases. It talks about all these things. Your pastor never takes you to Leviticus chapter 20. Leviticus chapter 20 talks about homosexuality, talks about bestiality, which is a person banging an animal or a dog or whatever it is. You go to jail for that too. They don't take you to Leviticus chapter 20. Matthew chapter 12, verse 45, it says, if you look at a woman with lust, you commit adultery in your heart. So it all starts with the eyes. It starts with the eyes. You look at the woman with lust. Now, it's in your mind. You start thinking about it. You start fantasizing, and then it becomes action. Then you fornicate. When it becomes action to sin, and then sin to destruction. You get sickness, or you make a woman pregnant, and then the woman puts you on child support, and you have to pay your child support. Like, these are things we need to be aware. Lust, nowadays we have a lot of weak men. We have a lot of weak men. Like, look at the predator, the child predator. They they're feeding the flesh. But like, to overcome your addiction to pornography, you gotta ask yourself, what are you feeding more? Are you feeding the flesh more, or are you feeding the spirit more? Because in Galatians chapter 5 verse 16 says that live in the spirit, do not fulfill the things of the flesh. So you gotta think, like, Am I fulfilling the things of the flesh or the spirit? Because in the next part, in verse 17, I think it says that the flesh against the spirit and the spirit is against the flesh. They always fighting. The flesh and the spirit, they always fighting. They always fighting. So if the flesh is against the spirit, so if you fulfill the things of the spirit, your flesh is going to lose. But if you feed the things of the flesh, your spirit is going to lose. Your spirit becomes weaker and weaker and weaker the more you feed the flesh. But the more you feed the spirit, reading the Bible, praying to God, worshiping the God, name all things. Pray to God all the time, have a prayer life. Like, these are things of the spirit. The more you feed the spirit, you're making it stronger and stronger. Think of it like going to the gym, working out. The more you work out, the more muscle you build, the more you stronger you become, the more stronger and stronger and stronger you become, the more muscle you build. The more you work out. Same thing with spirit. You feed the spirit and you become stronger and stronger in the spirit. You are less likely to fulfill things of the flesh. And you don't want to feel the things of the flesh anymore. The more you want to feel, you want to feed the flesh and feed the flesh. You want to feed the spirit, feed the spirit and feed the spirit. By reading the Bible, reading your devotional, pray. You have to have a prayer life. Throughout the week, we have to have a prayer life. Very important. Praying is very important. Start praying in the morning. Start by praying in the morning. Though when you pray in the morning, you give thanks. You ask for forgiveness, of course, before. And then you give thanks to God. You give thanks. And then pray for other people. Put on the whole armor, the helmet of salvation, the breastplate of righteousness, the sword of the Spirit, the shield of faith, the boot of peace, the belt of truth. So the helmet of salvation, we all know, is to protect our mind. The breastplate of righteousness to protect the heart, because if we let things in our heart, the bad things, it will overcome us. And then the sword, to swing that sword, no weapon shall form against me. And then the shield of faith, to keep the faith going. Don't leave the faith. The belt of truth, that you stay in the truth. And then you put on the boot of peace throughout the trials and tribulations, because that's God putting you in a test, that you have peace throughout the trial and tribulations. And yeah, you need some peace throughout this time. We all have problems. We all struggle. We all have trials and tribulations. Trials and tribulations, we struggle, and it ain't easy. We all have trials and tribulations. We're in tribulation, and it's to make us stronger, to make us better, and to overcome. So throughout the week, you need to feed your spirit throughout the week. Reading the Bible every day. Start by reading the Bible every day. Say like read your devotional. You don't have your devotional. Get yourself a devotional. Get yourself devotional and pray to God 3 times a day: morning, afternoon, and evening. 3 times a day. David prayed 3 times a day. And no one cannot distract you from praying. Like, it's between you and God. Maybe you want to do fasting for a week. Of course, go for it. That's way better. Doing fasting, praying, like, this comes with all kind. But this mainly goes with pornography and masturbating. Like, you want to overcome that, because sexual immorality is a strong sin. And most people say that it's not a sin. It's in the category of committing adultery, because when you look at a woman with lust, you commit adultery with your eyes. And there's plenty of Bible verses. Masturbation goes into adultery. And why when you do it, you feel guilty? That's the Holy Spirit speaking to you, saying that's wrong. That's wrong. You gotta ask for forgiveness. You gotta get back up and continue to walk. Even doing it with your imagination, doing it with your imagination, doing it without thinking about anything is forbidden. Because, like, I want you to think about it. Where does the seed go after you ejaculate? Where does the seed go? The seed goes into the toilet, or it goes into waste, as it goes into garbage can. Like, that's waste right there. You wasted it. And if you look it up in Google, what is the benefit, or what is bad thing about it? They don't show you. But, like, it shows you that, oh, it releases stress, it does this and that. They only show you the good one, but they don't show you the bad one. The bad one is testicle cancer, prostate cancer. I can name you a story of a person that jerked off a lot into pornography, and then he ended up getting testicle cancer. And then, like, he had a wife, and then the wife said that she's gonna divorce from him because he had testicle cancer, and now he's in complete pain and he's hurt and he's wanting to die because his wife said she wants the divorce right before he dies. Another one is he has testicle cancer, but he had a wife and kids, and then the wife says those kids are not yours. Lust can lead to destruction. It can lead to destruction. I can say another story of a person that jerked off into porn, and then, like, the hacker, because it's not a safe site. That website is not a safe site. The hacker took a screenshot of the person, took a screenshot and of his face when he ejaculated that time. Took a screenshot and then sent him a message and said that you gotta pay me $500 or else I'm gonna post it all over the internet, all over. And the only option he had was to confront with his parents and tell them what he just did. And that was, nobody wants to do that. Like, confront with your parents and say that you have an addiction, you have a problem. Confronting, no one wants to confront with their parents about that. Like, it's terrible. So 1 week and then reward yourself. You can reward yourself at, like, eating ice cream Friday, hanging out with your friends, roller coaster, or a day off, go to a park, or little as giving yourself a sticker. It may sound stupid, right? But even with adults, you give yourself a sticker. Good job, you give yourself a sticker. And now you want to keep the streak going. You want to keep going. The next week you do the same thing. Friday you reward yourself, give yourself a sticker. Next week the same thing. And then you keep the streak going. You keep the streak going and going and going. And you reward yourself. You keep rewarding yourself. You keep the streak going. That's how you reward yourself. I will be doing more live stream. And thanks for that like. Hit the like, subscribe. I will be doing more live stream, but I'll be doing it in my laptop. Reading through Silk Portion, reading through the Bible, playing some videos and stuff. I will be doing more live stream on that. And when I talk, like when I just doing a talk or doing a conversation, a talk, I will record a video instead. But when I'm reading through Silk Portion, watching a video showing you Vladimir Putin revealing the truth and revealing the lies that America had lied to us, and even DJing. I DJ at events, holidays, the holy days, the holy day. I do event, I DJ, and I will live stream. And I'm gonna start live stream from now and beyond. And I need you guys' help to grow my YouTube channel. Hit a like so this truth spreads and help others, people. So it helps others and it touches them. Because I will be talking about a lot of this. Like, this is a fight that the devil is trying to pull everyone. He's trying to grab as much people as he can into this old habit, into your own habit. And you got to be aware. He's pulling you away. He wants to pull you away from God. So if he pulls you away from God, he can destroy you and crush you. Leads to destruction. I will be live streaming tomorrow, hopefully, in God's will. I'll be live stream tomorrow. So stay blessed, stay hard. This is just the intro. The intro. Well, before I leave, let me see if I got something to say, like mainly to overcome this. I mean, honestly, have somebody that puts you accountable, somebody that like has control over your phone, like a friend or family that like takes your phone and like holds your phone. Or I mean, look at me. I hide my phone when I'm one device at a time, either the TV, the laptop, or the phone. Like one, only one. If I have my laptop, I turn my phone off and I hide it real good. Hide it real good where there's a lot of work, like where I hide it real good, where it's like, oh, I gotta get up and walk all the way just to get my telephone. What's the point of that? That goes to social media addiction, that goes to porn addiction, that goes to others. Like, literally, that's how I do. I have parental controls. It don't mean that you a little kid. Like, we're not supposed to have all this free, like sometimes we can't like have all these free stuff. Like, we gotta have parental control, block the site. If you're accessing your router, change the password and have somebody put like a password that you're not gonna know, or maybe your telephone, somebody to have control over your telephone, or buy yourself a flip phone. A flip phone, I mean, who's gonna judge you? But look, this is risk right here. This is risk. You're gonna lose friends, you're gonna lose family member because they like the old you, and the old you is comfortable. But as you begin to change, as you begin to work on yourself, because you are changing, you're gonna see changes around you. It's not you, only you change. You're gonna see changes right before your eyes. You're gonna lose family, you're gonna lose friends as you get out of your porn addiction. You're gonna lose people, and you need to get used to it. Changes is uncomfortable, but you gotta get through it. It can be hard. The devil's gonna be attacking, and when the devil attack, before he attack, grow your spirit, build your spirit up, and then when the devil attack you, you can overcome it. You want to build your spirit. I had to read the Bible. I had to pray 3 times a day. I have to read the Bible more. I had to study more to feed the spirit. And then when the devil come at me, feeding these garbage in my mind, I overcome. Like, I fight it. You say, leave lust, get out of here, lust, get out of here. Lust is talking to you. He's feeding these things in your mind, this nude pics and stuff, telling you, remember the time that you did this and that, remember the time you watched this, remember the time you watched Mia Khalifa. Oh, I did. You say, leave lust. Stop feeding these garbage in my mind. I don't need this garbage in my mind. I'm feeding the spirit. I'm not feeding the flesh. Get out of here, spirit. Crucify your flesh and then walk, carry the cross, live in the spirit. The more you feed the spirit, the more stronger the spirit becomes and it can fight the flesh. But if you feed the flesh more and more and more, then yeah, that's why you build discipline. You discipline yourself. That's feeding your spirit. Discipline. You're working out. You're working on your business. You're working on, that's discipline. You're disciplining your flesh. Because fulfilling your flesh is watching TV, going through social media, pornography. You want to not feed those things. You want to look through the roots. So for some people, maybe you've been rejected or maybe you've been abused in the past. Like, these are things you need to look through, and it is okay to go for a psychology therapist, counselor. Like, if you need it, go for it. Like, help is better. It's better to get help. Talk to somebody. Talk to your family. Talk to your friend. Like, it's better to talk to somebody. Don't just stay hidden and don't show yourself. I want to tell you another thing, that what it does is that your guilt and shame don't only pull you away from God, it actually pulls you away from your friends and family. It pulls you away from your friends and from your family. Something to be aware, something, it pulls you away and you become lonely. You become lonely. You start being separated from your family, your friends. You don't have that same joy. Because, like, your guilt and your shame telling you that, like, you're ashamed, you're guilty. You're guilty of, like, telling them that you have a problem or confronting them about your problem. But instead you hide it, and you put it under the rug, and it grows. You put a plant under the rug, what's gonna happen? It's gonna grow, and it's gonna grow and grow and grow. That's how it is with you hiding your pornography addiction from others and not telling others. It's gonna grow and grow and grow, and then soon as you're gonna separate yourself from your family, from your friend, and then you're gonna go far and far and far, and where the devil is taking you, because that is the devil taking you. Where the devil is taking you is destruction, death. It's taking you to destruction and death, and you gotta be careful with that. So that's my message to you. Shalom, and stay hard, stay blessed.